fast back home. Let me. Here you go. Let's go. Good morning. See, y'all didn't have to go to work last night, so y'all stayed up late, and it's 6:30 already. Let's go. Come on, women, show me some love when you come in. There they go. Okay, there goes somebody who knows what it is. Mike Neal. What's up, baby? Spoke to Mike first thing this morning. What's up, KP? What's up, brother? Welcome to the morning cup of coffee, Denisha. Hey, bringing hand now. Just a little bit longer now. Yeah. Let's go. Let's go. Fun Friday. I love you too, brother. I love you too, Mike. Tioka, what's up?
Good morning.
Yeah. Tell she said good morning. I'm really just an old preacher's child. Yeah. Good morning, Josh. Josh, y'all welcome Josh to the morning cup of coffee. Good morning. Yeah, maybe. Oh, I'm thinking Jane now. Glenn, good morning. Elaine, good morning. Good morning, Jeff. Jeff says hi.
Good morning.
Shaky, what's up? You should have got your phone and just turn it down. Yeah, let's go, man. It's Fun Friday, man. You can't go nowhere. If you in Texas, in Dallas, Texas, it's frozen. I know Amarillo frozen. For real. Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. It's Fun Friday, man. Keep my head to the skies, oh yeah. Keep my feet on the ground all the while. Let's go. And I know everything's gonna be alright. And I know everything's gonna be fine, yeah. Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to the morning cup of coffee. So I have a co-host today, the beautiful Mrs. JR Coble. My dad calls her the Riddler. My dad calls her the Riddler. She's going to join us this morning. Lubbock is cold too. Yeah, Shaky say Lubbock is cold too. So this morning I know that it's Fun Friday. I know that a lot of places are somewhat snowed in. First it's COVID, now it's snow. Got us locked in to where we can't run around and do all the stuff that we want to do. So it's crazy out there, right?
It's cold.
Yeah, it's cold. So what we're gonna do today is we're gonna join together, come together, and we're gonna talk about something really, really good. Yesterday, for the last few days, we've been talking about fear is greater than faith. I mean, your faith has to be, your faith has to be greater than your fear. We will have those shirts up on the website here pretty soon. By the way, I talked to my partner yesterday, and he gonna get that taken care of for us. Good morning, Brandon. I ain't seen you in a long time, man. Y'all welcome Brandon to the morning cup of coffee. So ultimately, your faith has to be bigger than your fear. Mm-hmm. What are some of the things that scare you?
Failure.
Failure in what aspect?
Life. And like, not in my job because I'm super confident in my job.
Mm-hmm.
Failure in serving you.
Mm-hmm.
Failure in advising my children.
Mm-hmm.
Those would be my main.
So how would you combat that? What is the action that you take to combat the fact that you fear maybe giving your children the wrong advice, or you fear maybe failing me in some way, form, or fashion? So what is the advice or that you would give, or what are the measures that you take to try to make sure that your faith is greater than those fears?
Prayer. Strong prayer life.
What up, Lisa? Good morning.
Wise counsel. I know who I can call. I know who will advise me correctly. I know who has my best interest and your best interest and my children's best interest, our children's best interest. I know who has those things close to their heart, so I know that they wouldn't steer me wrong. But prayer is always first, and then I always have wise counsel.
You know, in the Word of God it says that she said she could barely hear you. Wise counsel. The Word of God says that to seek wise counsel. It said a multitude of counsel. It's like, and honestly, that helps me combat my fears too, because I share the same fear. Like I fear failing. I do. I fear failing in on a large scale of things, in a wide realm of areas. You know, whether it be a husband, a dad, or a businessman, or a friend. You know, and I do the same thing. I pray and then I seek wise counsel. I'll go back to a scripture that I talked to you guys about. Good morning, Michael Jordan. I talked to you guys about a while back, and it was in Joshua where God says, "Have I not commanded you to be strong and courageous?" He says, "I have not." He says, and it's a rhetorical question because he's saying ultimately, "Have I not commanded you of this?" There is safety in a multitude of counsel. You're right. Keith Graves, thank you for dropping that. It started to escape me, but my brother came up and ooped it this morning. Good morning. So the command is there, people. The command is there. And if he's telling you to do this, the thing about it is that he's not giving you a command that he either hasn't equipped you to be able to do, or he hasn't given you the resources. Tim Taylor. Tim, we live, baby. We live. So
that happened to Stephanie the other morning because she messaged me. She's like, "Is he not coming on?"
Yeah.
I said, "No, he's on."
I hope I went in on the right name. Again, if he gives you these commandments, there you go, Tim. If he gives you these commandments, he's most definitely giving you the capabilities, the resources to get these things done that he so commanded you. If he didn't tell you to be strong and courageous, yes. Again, Keith Graves drops another good point. He says a commandment is not optional. No, he has commanded us to be strong and courageous. And the reason why he says that, because he backs that up a little bit later on in the scripture. And he says, "I have not given you a spirit of fear, but of power and sound mind." That's the reason why the commandment stands true. And that's the reason why the commandment is completely and utterly doable, achievable, is because he has not given you a spirit of fear, but of love, of power, and of sound mind. These are things that you could reflect on. These are the things that need to be on repeat. We got some stuff on repeat inside of our minds and inside of our hearts, inside of our souls. But what is it? What do you have on repeat? Yes, he backs it up. He does, Keith. What do you have on repeat inside of your mind? What do you have repeat inside of your heart? What are you repeating to yourself daily when it comes to these certain fears that we're faced with daily? Daily, faced with fear. Something is going to approach you daily. Good morning, Miss Westmoreland. Good morning, Teresa. Something will approach you daily and tempt you to be fearful. And tempt you to be afraid, to tempt you not to step out and attempt something that most others would not attempt, because the fear is there, that gripping fear. That gripping fear. Fear will cripple you. That faith has to be greater than that crippling fear that will come into your life. Good morning, Jeff. Yes, and Jeff says it. God has fully equipped us to do these things. It's not like you lack the capability. Some of us even have the desire. The desire is there. The capability is there. You just got to step out of that boat onto that water. You have to. I'm going to be honest with you. It's something that I practice, maybe not for the last few days, because I was going to say daily, but we kind of been cooped up in the house, right? But on a daily, I have to fight some type of fear, like calling these venues, trying to get these things done.
Fear of rejection.
Fear of rejection, yeah. Yes. Navigating the waters of a career that I know nothing about. You know, it's those things like, man, I get ready to call these people, and I ain't gonna lie. A lot of the times before I make those phone calls, I pray like, God, I need this one. I need this one. You know, I lost 3 days worth of gigs with this ice.
Yeah.
3 days worth of shows with this ice. And that's when it goes back to trying to be a better steward, not trying to, but being a better steward of the things that you do get and have. You know, but yeah, most definitely, I'm faced with these fears daily. And the one thing I continually say, and I want you guys to remember this and put this on repeat: God, I can't do it without you. I never could, never will be able to, don't want to. Because when he's in it, there's...
If he's not in it, we don't want it.
Right. Because ultimately, if a man builds a house in vain, unless God... A man works in vain, toils in vain, unless God is the builder of that house. Mm-hmm. You know, he'll give you the strength and the resolve to do the assignment that you were sent to do. A lot of us are doing things that we weren't sent to do. Yeah, and you count it all joy. Absolutely, Ms. Westmore.
Wasting time.
Yeah,
That's what you're doing.
if you're not doing what you was told to do, if you're not doing the assignment, you're wasting time. Mm-hmm. Yes, he will, Lisa. Ain't no question. I don't know if y'all caught the nightcap last night, but if you didn't, you're wrong. Go back and get it. If you didn't catch the nightcap last night, you're wrong. Go back and get it. We're gonna catch it tonight. I'm one of the ones that gotta go back and get it. For real. Keep it 1,000. But yeah, it was fearful to try to cross over into this world of like doing the podcasts and getting up here and laying myself before, being transparent, man.
And vulnerable.
Oh, definitely, and being vulnerable.
That's scary.
No, yeah.
That's scary.
Most definitely. I think that's why a lot of people don't do it. Mm-hmm. They think about like, that's why I kind of have an issue with the way some churches handle people. Like, mm-hmm. I don't know how I can help you if I've never been through the things that you've gone through, or if I'm not willing to admit that I've gone through them as well.
Right. Because you don't have a testimony.
Right.
Or you're not willing to share it.
You're not willing
because you're still shamed.
Yeah.
And shame is attached to it.
Most definitely. And people fail to realize that there's no shame in forgiveness. So even if you did go through these things and God forgave you of them, so it's no longer shame. It turns into a testimony. And you gotta lose that fear of being vulnerable and telling people about it. The Word of God says, confess your sins one to another. That's what the Word says. That's what my words say. The one that I read. The Bible I read, it read like that. Let that rip. Yeah. Hashtag no shame. Hashtag fearless. Let's put fearless in the chat, man. Your faith has to be greater than that fear. Some of you people you're pregnant with these things that need to be birthed. You're pregnant with these desires and these ideas, and you're pregnant with these businesses and these books, and you're pregnant with this talent. And the only thing that's holding you back from giving birth to these things is fear. Mm-hmm. Some of you guys are pregnant with stores. You're pregnant with lines of clothing. You're pregnant with the NBA draft. You're pregnant with these things. You're pregnant with podcasts. You're pregnant with music. You're pregnant with just business after business. You're pregnant with ministry.
Plethora of skill set.
A plethora of skill set. And the only thing that holds you back is fear. Man, when you become fearless, hashtag fearless. When you become fearless, there's no telling what God will do. When your faith gets greater than your fear. Good morning, Chad. Welcome to the Morning Cup of Coffee. When your faith gets greater than your fear, there's no telling what will happen in your life. No telling what will happen. Mountains will be moved. I talked to a guy yesterday. I reached out to Lisa yesterday, and I told her that I got a guy that I want her to speak to. So when you get a chance, Lisa, get in touch with me. I got somebody who wants to talk to you. It's about the nightcap. You know, just avenues. And if you're willing, he'll call you. He'll talk to you. You guys, I'll link you guys up. Y'all do y'all's thing. But you have to lose that fear. I'm not saying that you're fearful. I'm not. I just happen to think of that, so I let it out right there. But You have to lose that fear, man. I got this sign up on my desk and it says, don't be afraid to fail. Be afraid not to try. And I'll lean on that. I'll stand on that, man. You guys are pregnant with these things. The world, think about this. The worst thing about dying would be to die pregnant with something that God had given you.
Yeah.
Just think about that. You have this baby in you. He's birthed you with this child.
I call it a ripple.
A ripple? What do you mean?
Like because it's a ripple, it's an idea, and so if you gotta share it so that it
turns into a wave. It's the ripple effect. Yeah. Ooh, you drop that in there and watch the. You
can't take it with you.
No, you can't. You gotta let it out. It would be. There's so many people who pass, and they take that dream to the grave with them. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. I'm gonna try everything. I'm gonna try it all.
I read this thing and it said, when I get to heaven, I want to tell God I used up everything you gave me.
Oh. Let that rip. All right, Mike, God bless you, brother. Mike Jordan has to just, and honestly, I believe that should be the goal of all mankind. Is that when you get to heaven, you should be able to tell God, I used everything that you gave me. Mm-hmm. If he made you run, switch your attitude. If he gave you, Miss Westmoreland, listen, if he gave you speed, you supposed to use it. If he gave you ball handling, you supposed to use it.
And teach it.
And ain't no question. Yeah. Ain't no question. Whatever he gave you, you supposed to, when it's time for them to put you in the grave, you're supposed to go into the grave empty. Empty. Because you poured out everything that you had while you was walking around on this planet. MC, what's up, man? Y'all welcome MC to the morning cup of coffee, man. I know him from a long time ago, man. Good to see you, brother. If that's the MC I think it is. Welcome MC to the morning cup of coffee. Let that rip. Yeah, when you go to the grave, you're supposed to go to the grave empty, man. When I get there, I want to be able to say, man, God, everything I had, I emptied it out. I do not want to go to the grave pregnant with a beautiful idea that God had given me, and I just was too fearful to let it out, to attempt it. Do you know what happens? It turns into the parable. It turns into the parable when God gave these certain people talents. He gave one talent. He gave another a few more talents. Then he gave one 10 talents. Yeah. Hold on. I'm going to get back to that, Miss Westmoreland. And what happened is one guy, he had the one talent and he buried it and just kind of sat on it. Mm-hmm. The other guy, he went and invested some of his. And then the other guy, he did the same thing and he doubled his up. He turned 10 into 20. So God calls these people up, or it's a parable of a master. The master calls these people up and he says, okay, what did you do with the talents? And the one guy said, hey, I turned my 10 into 20. Boop, dropped it out. He says, good. Second guy says, well, I turned my 5 into about 7. Okay, boop. The last guy says, and I'm paraphrasing you guys, please don't beat me up too bad about murdering this scripture. But the last guy says, well, I know that you're a cruel leader. So the one talent that you gave me, I was afraid I wasn't going to go lose it. So I buried it. So here go this one that you gave me. Mm-hmm. And so he took the one. He said, if you knew I was a cruel leader, why didn't you try to make something with the money that I gave you? So he took the one and he gave it to the one who had the most. A cruel guy, at least if the man that had the one would have at least attempted to do something with it. Mm-hmm. I believe the leader would have understood, man, look, you gave me the one, and so they said that these Bitcoins was popping. And so what I did is I went and bought a couple Bitcoins with the joint. And right now your talent, it's only worth half a talent. But hey, I tried. And I'll pay you what I owe you. But if he would have just attempted to invest that talent. And I believe that that's what some of us need to do. You need to believe in it, man. Get that faith going in you. Get that faith on repeat. Get that faith stirred up in your soul. Work that faith out. And then,
Don't hoard.
No, don't hang up. Don't. No, you're right. Put it out there in the atmosphere. Put that faith out there. Work that faith out with small little things, and then ask God, what is my birth? What is my baby? What have you impregnated me with? What seed have you given me that I need to put back into the ground or that I need to release into this world? Period. Shaky says, write that vision down. Yeah, that's part of it. After you got it on paper, though, you got to start moving. You got to start making phone. Yeah, it turns into an action word. Be fruitful and multiply in all things, Miss Westmoreland. The business owners on here, to the business owners. You guys didn't start that business by just sitting still. You was working and praying. If you was on here, I know you was praying. If you on this live, if you listening to this podcast, you were working. You're right, Lisa. Mrs. Nightcap says, faith without works is dead. You better know it. You didn't get to where you are now by sitting still or believing without the work or believing with no action. Still, she says, still working and praying. Ain't no question. I know it. Every day, Tioka. Tioka's been a homeowner for 20 years. That baby ain't even close to 50. Homeowner for 20 years. Let that rip. Let that rip, man. Let that rip, man. You think she did that by not working and praying? It was a combination of the two. Those go together. You got to mix those things up and let it go. Keith said he started his venue in a bathroom. What? In a 1-bedroom. Tim Taylor says that he's retired and he's still working and praying. I know that's the truth. That's what it takes, people. You have to understand that faith is only meant to cripple you. Fear is only meant to because fear is only meant to cripple you. Do you know what? Fear is just faith in the wrong thing.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
Listen to that. Huh? Fear is just faith in the wrong thing. You're believing in the wrong thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, what you focus on magnifies.
It magnifies. And if you believe, so if you are, if fear is crippling you or withholding you from doing what it is that you really desire to do in your mind, but you don't want to do it, ultimately you're telling yourself that you don't believe that you can accomplish it, or you don't believe that God will help you accomplish it. So you're having faith in the wrong thing. Mm-hmm. You telling yourself the wrong thing and you believe in the wrong thing, and so you gonna get the results of whatever it is that you believe in working. So faith is either keeping you from not working, or faith in the wrong thing will keep you from not trying, so you're not working. Mm-hmm. And faith in the right thing will get your body moving in the right direction, because an object in motion stays in motion. Mm-hmm. Will you meet some opposing forces? Absolutely.
Always.
Absolutely. Yeah, you go. That's
always.
That's life. The wind is gonna blow against you. It may not be a brick wall, but something's going against you. Life is like a stream going uphill, right?
Got them currents.
You got those currents coming against you. Check this out. On all levels, right, Lisa? Check this out. The thing about life being like you have to stay in motion, yes. The thing about life being like a stream coming downhill is that the moment that you stop moving forward, yeah, baby. The moment you stop moving forward, those currents, that downstream, will begin to pull you back. It will begin to pull you back. So you have to continue to move forward. You have to continue to be faithful. You have to continue to be fearless. You got to continue to be fearless of all things, man. Fearless and faithful, full of faith, man. Standing on something, anchored, as Shaky said, anchored in something, in a foundation that when the times get hard, during the 20 years you're trying to be a house owner, you know you have something that you can stand on. You have something that you could run to. When times get hard as a business owner, you have something that you could run to. When times get hard, it's just living every day, working every day, doing your best to keep your head above water. You'll have something to run to. Not everybody wants to be a business owner. Not everybody wants to be a star or NBA player or all those things, and that's cool. But even life for those people get hard. My desire for you is for you to be the very best of you. I don't care what that is. The very best that, see, we fail to realize that we are the very best of what God has to offer. We're made in his image. Fearfully and wonderfully made. Handcrafted by the Almighty God. To live on this life, to live on this earth, and to share our lives and our minds and our abilities with one another. My abilities weren't made for me. Whatever that you do good, it wasn't made for you. God gave that to you so that ultimately you could share it with the rest of us. We want to see it. Listen, we want to see. Jeff, I want to see. Tim, I want to see you being your best you. Even if that's, the small things, I'm getting ahead of myself. Even if it's just opening doors for people or pouring someone a cup of coffee in the morning.
Smiling at somebody.
Smiling at somebody. Smiling at someone. These are the beautiful things that God gave us to share, and some of us withhold that. Why would you withhold a smile? He may not pick it the way, No.
I used to get so mad at people if I smiled and they didn't smile back. I feel like I wasted that smile.
No, you
and
didn't.
Then I did used to feel that way.
Right.
Now I don't. Now my perspective has changed.
Because ultimately you didn't waste that smile, right? I bet you don't know how many times that happens, and somebody was probably going around their day, and even if that, it'll make them wonder, what's she so dang happy about?
They started to ask me that.
And you can tell them that.
I stopped caring. Right.
It's the joy of the Lord. And right then you've opened the door to be able to talk to this person about
anything.
You can witness to this
Your day,
person.
the weather.
And then if you're a Christ follower and a believer, some way, form, or fashion, that will work its way into the conversation. And at that moment you're doing exactly what God wanted you to do. Mm-hmm. And all it started with was a smile. Good morning, Heath. Y'all welcome Heath to the morning cup of coffee.
Good morning.
Look, I know it's Fun Friday. I want your faith to be greater than your fear. Not only today, but for the rest of your entire lives. I want you to understand that God gave you everything that you need to be strong and courageous. And it's a command. It's not an option. Good morning, Debbie. God bless you, Debbie. We're praying for you. It's a command to be fearless, courageous. Because he's not giving you a spirit of fear, but of love and of sound mind. And with that, you can accomplish anything. With that, you can accomplish anything. That's a promise. That's a promise. Yeah, you're right, Jeff. And be prepared to make a defense for your faith. And that comes with being fearless as well. The word of God, to go with what Jeff said, be prepared to make a defense for your faith. I am not ashamed of the gospel. I'll stop right there. I'm not ashamed of the gospel. And I understand that. I believe that all of us here are faith-filled people. I want us to be the very best of what we can be. That's my goal for you, is to strengthen, comfort, and encourage you. It is. But if you have a shell, my goal is to break you out of that shell. My goal is to give you the key that'll unlock that door to where you can step out and be the very best of you, who you're meant to be. Period. That's the journey I'm traveling. And so as I navigate through that, I trust that you guys are wise people, so you don't have to learn from your own mistakes. That's a smart person. You learn from a person that learns from his own mistakes is a smart person. We can agree on that. But the person that learns from someone else's mistakes is a wise person. And I encourage you guys to be wise people. Wise people, fearless people, good stewards, cunning. All of those things. That's my goal for you. That's what I'm doing here. If they ask me, well, Jay, what are you doing with the morning cup? This is what I want to do with the morning cup of coffee. I want to help make people the very best that they could be. I want to unlock their potential. I want them to see the potential that they have, and then I want it unlocked, and then I want it spread abroad. I want it to run rampant through the world, man. They say that if you can believe in it says if your dream is believable, it's not big enough. And I got some stuff that I be halfway ashamed to tell people. You believe you're gonna do what? Yep. Yeah. Straight up. Because my dreams are up there, and I was ashamed to admit it, but I'm not anymore. Yeah. Number 1 podcast in the world. One step at a time, one day at a time, one person at a time. Hey, they laughed at Noah. But they got a replica of that art built somewhere in Wisconsin. Huh. Yeah. His name is echoed in the history book. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Keith, I'm going to say it now. That's one of mine. It's to sing the national anthem at the Super Bowl.
That's going to happen.
Keith pulled it out. What's crazy is I don't know. Have I ever said that on here?
I don't know.
Keith, that's confirmation, boy.
Globe Life Stadium, but I know that I know that's where you're
Yeah.
going.
Thank you, baby. Yeah. Keith pulled it out, man. That's one of my ones, man, for real. Super Bowl, man. National anthem. Hey, they laughed at Noah until it started to rain. Lord, send the rain. Confirmation shaky because I wasn't going to say it. Okay, for sure. I have to check that out. Hey, man, it's Fun Friday. Be fearless on this day. Be fearless on this day. Do your 30 minutes. Do your time of the essence on today. Do something good for somebody today. Smile at somebody today. If you're locked in your house, do it all in your house. Yeah. That's what we're going to do. Get close to it anyway. Hey, I love you guys. I'll see you Monday morning. Go get all the podcasts. The podcasts have been uploaded on Spotify. Please go check them out. Go get the series. If you don't follow us on Spotify, on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, please go follow us. Push the subscribe button. I think that's about it. I will post when the shirts are ready on the website. I told you I loved you. I mean it.
Stay warm.
Stay warm. And it's easy.
God first.